This is where your money goes when you pay federal taxes. Our investigation reveals that multiple groups of tech-savvy criminals have set their sights right here, tricking the government into paying out huge refunds for sham business transactions. Checks from the Government of Canada sent coast to coast, transfers to Hong Kong, Dubai, and England. The CRA says they've identified $1.1 billion related to carousel schemes since 2017.
It's a crazy amount of money that's being stolen out of your government's treasury. The beauty of this crime is that it's so easy to perform.
The first company in the carousel is supposed to pay tax on the products it sells, but it doesn't. And to disguise that fact, the products are sold and resold to multiple buffer companies. The last company in the chain then exports the products, but no sales tax is payable on exports from Canada. So that last company gets a refund on tax that was never paid in the first place. According to the Canada Revenue Agency, this man, Samer Bichet, is at the center of one of those carousel schemes, one which they say cost Canadians $63 million. Bichet runs Iristel, a Canadian telecommunications company. Following a 6-month investigation, the CRA concluded that Iristel was at the center of the scheme, with control over the supply chain, and was the de facto banker. They say Iristel was either knowingly involved or willfully blind. So far, all allegations remain untested in court. He maintains he's innocent, that if the CRA succeeds, it will destroy his company and his reputation. So he's suing them for $275 million. And he's going public to clear his name.
What they're trying to do is portray me as the mastermind behind all of this. That's all nonsense.
CRA documents allege that Iristel's U.S. customers exhibited a lot of red flags, and that one of those companies, called LDI, was a key participant in the carousel scheme. Meet Louis Areola. In 2009, he was sentenced to 27 months in prison for a fraud involving a fake telecom company. In 2012, he was accused of looting and misappropriating company funds in a case that was later settled out of court.
When I met Lou, he was telling me about how he was going to give us all the business for one of our competitors.
He's a convicted fraudster.
That's what we found out.
He went to prison in 2009 for fraud. He was accused of defrauding another company in 2012.
We found that out after.
You couldn't have found it out before?
Because we don't typically run Google searches on owners of companies. We run a credit check. We had a Dun & Bradstreet report that said they're low risk. He's a telecom veteran, and the last thing you would do is, why would you go to a Google search about somebody? I don't do that.
Because it would tell you if he's a convicted fraudster.
Throughout the EU, criminal investigations are not the only priority. So too is prevention. A growing list of industries prone to carousel fraud are exempted from collecting sales tax to prevent bogus refund claims. Unlike in Canada, European companies are required to know far more about their suppliers and customers, says Mike Cheatham.
I think by European standards, when you look at the Iristel case, it would be a problem. There would be red flags all over the place. You are expected to visit your customers and suppliers to check them out. The law requires it.
We thought we would try one more time to speak to the Minister of Revenue about carousel schemes. After all, it's your money, your tax dollars being stolen.
We are doing an investigation on carousel tax frauds, and I'd like to ask you a question if I could.
I would answer your question, but I would prefer to get a little briefing before. I say yes, okay? I say yes, we'll do it. But let me get ready for that.
But Minister Bibeau promptly changed her mind. Instead, she sent this statement. These schemes can be complex and challenging to uncover, as well as time-consuming to audit and litigate. I am committed to protecting Canada's tax system from those who would manipulate it unfairly for their own gains.